We got our next guest on the line. Very excited to have him return here on ATG Radio. He's the man with the power to sweep the beast power. The Inferno, Richard Towers, back on ATG Radio. Champ, what's going on tonight, my man? How you doing?
Hello, Frank. My pleasure, brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for phoning me, and it's a real pleasure to be back online with you guys.
It's a pleasure to have you, man. I mean, look, since the last time you were on the show, one thing about our show, we focus very heavily on the heavyweight division. In my opinion, it's coming back to being the hottest division in boxing. There's so many emerging stars such as yourself coming into it. The best part about it is we've been, talking to a lot of guys who are your rival, let's say. I mean, we know the fallout of you and Lucas Browne's fight a couple weeks ago, what went down there. We were very excited about that fight going down, but we all know the circumstances with that. But I want to get right into it with you. One of the interesting things that we had, Silvana, Elliot Vasquez, Torres here as well, we had Ian Lewison on the line. The last time you were on the show, you didn't want to mention his name. We knew who you were talking about. We had Ian on the line for about 20, 25 minutes, and all he was doing was F-bombs. We tweeted it out, so this way you knew what was going on. This guy just does not like you. He just does not like you. I mean, what could you tell us about, now that we kind of unraveled it? I know you don't want to talk about this guy, but everywhere Ian Lewison goes, he badmouths Richard Towers. What can you tell us about Ian Lewison?
Yeah, well, I can't really tell you much about this guy. The first I knew about this guy was I got a tweet on Twitter, basically some guy saying that he's going to knock me out the first opportunity he gets. So as you do, you oblige and reply, and I thought that was the thing to do. And then this guy, all of a sudden, every given opportunity is mentioning my name, this and that. I can't really say I like the guy. I can't say I dislike the guy because I don't know the guy, but recently I sent him a tweet saying, listen, brother, no disrespect. I don't mean no harm to you or your people. I'm just going with the flow. I just see it as I wish you the best. Because I try and remain a gentleman within my chosen profession, and within real life as well. These things aren't serious to me. When I get in the ring, then it's time to turn it on. If we ever get into the ring, then just as I'll have to be switched on, he'll have to be switched on as well. We're all professionals, so it's a very big possibility we may bump into each other one day. But I'm not in charge of anything to do with the fights and things like that. I've got a good managing team behind me. They sort all the sparring out, they sort all the fights out, they sort the venues out. There's a few little unfortunate occasions occur, like my last fight with Lucas Browne. As soon as we found out that the fight was available in Australia, all the proceeds went into action to get me a visa. And then it was just a matter of time. We just had to sit and wait for the answers. We sat and waited, answered all the questions, did everything what was required of us. And then they finally came back with the refusal of the visa. So, unfortunate times, but I've just kept training. I've kept in the gym. I've had some really good sparring recently, and I'll continue to just keep chipping away at the block and get as much experience, as much invaluable experience as I possibly can do. But with regards to other human beings, such as Ian Lewison, I've got nothing against you, brother. If you can hear this, I don't mean no disrespect in anything I've said in the past. It's all just banter. I'm just going with the flow. If we get to meet in the ring, then I'll be taking you as seriously as the next man. But on a personal level, I don't really know the guy enough to make any brash statements about him, So I'm neutral, man.
And I respect that, Richard. I told you the last time you were on the show, you're a guy I don't think it behooves any individual on the planet Earth. You're a big guy, intimidating, tough. And I don't use the word killer, but you knock people out for a living, and you've been doing that your entire life. Yeah, you're not a guy I would mess with. I'm not saying Ian Lewison isn't capable of handling himself, but just from my side, from the outside looking in, I wouldn't mess with you. But speaking of Lucas Browne, that fight that went down, him and Travis Walker, I saw the fight. You know, I like Lucas Browne. I think Lucas Browne is a very talented heavyweight. I think he's a great. He's very accessible to his fans. He's very good for Australia. But I saw a lot of kinks in that fight with Travis Walker. Have you had an opportunity to see that fight with Lucas Browne? If so, what is your assessment? And do you think if you were involved in that fight, Lucas Browne would have suffered defeat that evening?
Yeah, I think, you know, we can all say, well, I think this and I think that, shoulda, woulda, coulda and all that, but it's on the night, on the occasion that counts. And, you know, it's like I said, I don't underestimate any opponent that I've stood in front of. I've never underestimated any opponent that I've stood in front of. You know, if I'd have got in on that night, it's like I said, I'd prepared well for it. Everything had gone well. But, you know, in the last fight, everything went well in the last fight, in preparation from the last fight with Gregory Tony. And, you know, I got there and things didn't go to plan. You know, things haven't gone to plan before in training camp. And I've gone into fights and I've looked $1 million and I've been absolutely spectacular. But it's like I said, you just take each step as you go, you know. And I won't be underestimating anybody anytime soon. I want to congratulate Lucas Browne, you know, with Travis Walker. Travis Fight Train Walker is no joke, you know. But let's be realistic about the situation. Travis Walker, more than likely, turned up to that fight less prepared than he would have liked. You know, by his own admission in a short interview I saw, he said that he turned up to that fight with only a few days preparation. And if he'd have had more time, things might have been different. I know that he put Lucas down in the first round. I've not had the opportunity to see the fight, but it's like I said, you know, this is the heavyweight division. We are the new generation, and this is what people need to take sight of, because we're 6'5", 6'8" plus. We're over 16, 17 stone plus, and it is no joke. If you get hit on the jaw by such a character, by such a being, it's going to hurt. It's as simple as that. And this is what I say to people, you know, it don't matter what you think you are. If you think your jaw's made out of granite or iron or whatever, these folks, old wives' tales tell you, then I'd say to you, put your feet back on the ground and come back down to earth, because this is real life. And when you get hit by a true heavyweight, by the new generation of heavyweight, one what I consider myself to be, you know, I'm not saying that I'm the best heavyweight. I'm not saying that I've got enough experience to class myself in any height of pedigree. You know, I'm not saying that at all. I know my limitations. I know the height of my experience, and you know, I'm behind all these guys. All these guys have got a lot more experience in combat. My feet are well firmly on the ground, and I realise in probably more than 10 out of 10 fights, I'm going to be facing people what I'm out of my depth with. But this is an advantage to me as I see it, because I'm fighting for my life. Everything is on the line for me. I've got everything to lose, everything to gain. So I'm putting everything into the fight. And you know, if they turn up less than that on the night, then they're going to come unstuck. It's as simple as that.
Respect that, man. Elliot Vasquez-Torres.
Yeah, hey, how you doing? I was there. I just want to ask you, when
hello, friend.
Actually can we see you back in the ring? How you doing? When are we going to see you back in the ring and you know, throw those blows, man? Because we all know you got what it takes.
Yeah, I've like I said, I've been training. I've not stopped training consistently for the time that I started the gym. You know, over the time that I started, I've had your odd injury. I've had your odd little setbacks like flu, like chest infections, ear infections, but that's all past now, and I've been flying for well over a year. And apparently I'm fighting in France in October, and I'm defending my EU title. I'm not very good with names, so you please have to excuse me, sir, but I can't really remember the guy's name, but I'm fighting a good opponent. I know he's had 29 fights, he's won 28, he's lost 1, and he's stopped 19, so quite a credible record. And that's my next stop, October, France, here I come.
Is the guy you're fighting? Is he from the UK? Maybe we could figure it out for you. I'm pretty good with the names. Is he a UK fighter?
No, he's French. The fella, he's French.
Okay, yeah, but that's gonna. I'm gonna get back to that, Elliot. Sorry, I had to jump in there.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
Figure that guy out.
Yeah, I want to get your take on this upcoming fight. You know, it's going to be huge in England and Europe, and of course here in America. It's the fight between David Haye and Tyson Fury. I want to know, get your takes on that fight. Who do you think is going to win? Your prediction, and why do you think?
Yeah, I've done a fair bit of sparring with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is one of the new generation heavyweights. You know, he's 6'9", 6'10". He's 19, 20 stone. I think he came in at 18 stone in his last fight. So he's trying to improve on all aspects, including his weight. But it's all to do with what you feel good at. David Haye, absolute, credit to the sport. He's blown people away at cruiserweight, blowing people away at heavyweight. He's a man is not to be taken lightly, but I'm not just looking for the cop-out answer here. In my opinion, my very, very limited, unexperienced opinion, I'd say David Haye's got his hands full with this big man, because this big man in Tyson Fury wants to fight. He wants to mix it up. He wants to make it look messy. He wants to use every one of his attributes. But then on the other hand, there's David Haye, who can bang, he can put people away in a flash. He's got all the moves that experience brings from the Olympics, from a very successful amateur career. This guy, he knows how to fight and he knows how to put people away. And again, he wants to get in there and do the damage, and he's vindictive with it. He wants to hurt you. And I think it's quite an equal fight. And, I think I'd be speaking out of my depth. You might consider this a cop-out answer, but I'm really on the fence with this one. But I think it's going to be one hell of a fight. I don't think it's probably going to go the way a lot of people are expecting. I think it's going to be up and down for David Haye, up and down for Tyson Fury. But I think there's definitely going to be a knockout on either side. And I can't quite make my mind up which side that's going to be, sir.
Let me hop in there, Elliot. Richard, there's a guy we're talking about you fighting in October, Johan Duhaupas.
Okay, that's the fella. That's the one.
Wow. You're really, and this is going to take place is this going to be in the UK, is it going to be England, or is it going to be France?
No, this is going to be in France. I'm not sure what venue. I've just been told I'll be fighting and defending my European Union title in France in October, early October. So, like I said, I've been preparing hard since I found out about the Lucas Browne fight. So, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to roll, sir.
And I want to mention this too, because you beat Gregory Tony, who's a resident of France. You're not going to be you beat this guy, which I know you're going to. This guy's a very talented guy. As you said, 29 and very talented. Yeah. But you're not going to be allowed into France after you beat you're going to beat their two top heavyweights. And I don't think you're going to be either one. You're going to have to be like their Michael Jordan of boxing or something. You're going to have to be an adopted resident of Spain, or I don't know if you're going to make it out of France alive. I mean, these guys are going to come after you. You're beating all their guys.
Yeah, well, I suppose I just have to take the positive and enthusiastic look on that, and hope that people see it for what it is, and me putting their two top guys away, they don't take it too personally and they just see it as business, because that's how I see it. And it's like I said, I'm doing everything in training. I've done everything in training. I never cut any corners. I'm under no illusion. People never give Gregory Tony the credit he deserves. I spoke to David Haye. I spoke to a few guys what knew of Gregory Tony, what saw my fight, and basically said, Gregory Tony is one of the most underrated heavyweights on the current scene. This guy is awkward. This guy makes it look messy. This guy can do what you don't think he can do. And he's been doing this since he was a young kid. He was involved with MMA, he was involved with Thai boxing, kickboxing. This guy had a credible and a feasible background, in combat. you know, and he's not shy to land a few punches or kicks or whatever it's taken, you know, to what he's been doing. But it's like I said to you, you know, I got in there, and me not cutting corners and me sticking to the plan and sticking to the absolute definition of instruction from my team, it paid dividend, because I got in there and, you know, the odds were completely stacked against me. Yeah, let's be realistic and say the referee probably did more of a favour for me than maybe a lot of other referees would. But that's by the by. You know, I got the W, I won the fight, and I became European Union champion. Not insulting anybody's intelligence, but I dug deep. I realised my mistakes in the 5th round, and I came back out and I didn't make the mistakes I'd made previously again. And like I said, I got the win, you know, and that's what it's all about.
And I agree with you there, Richard Inferno. Look, man, my whole thing is, my concern for, and it's not much of a concern, is as I am a fan, as I've been, you know, was looking forward to your match with Lucas Browne, being out of the ring over a year.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're in the gym, but we both know there's a big difference from what goes on in the gym and what goes on under the bright lights and the thousands of people that surround you while you're fighting. Is that a concern with you, the rust from that, from being around the bright lights, around the crowd, no headgear, you know, for all the marbles? I know all the hard work goes in the gym, but is that a concern for you? You know, fighting such a tough. You're fighting the top heavyweight in France, one of the top heavyweights in Europe, let alone the world. You know, is that a concern to you that you might, like you said, you never know what's going to happen until the night of the fight?
Frank, you've got a really good point in that, what you're saying, but it's like I said to everybody, you know, people ask me about certain fights. I say, what do you think to this fight? What do you think to that? And I spend 3 or 4 hours a day with Brendan. And I always revert to the answer to that question in being, you know, I'm not qualified enough to worry about things what I don't really know that much about. I'm not qualified enough to carry a very valuable opinion with regards to other fighters and with regards to the experts of the game, the expert analysts or whatever you want to call them, or, you know, top champions. I'm not qualified to worry about all these things. All I know is that from the time I came back on track, probably a week after the Gregory Tony fight, you know, I've had sparring with Klitschko. I've been over sparring with Vladimir Klitschko for a month. I've been sparring with Payonetta. I've been sparring with Mike Perez. I've been sparring with Chisora. I've sparred with everybody, you know, and I've remained active. And, you know, I heard before I went to Klitschko, to the Klitschko camp, you know, people you hear it on common ground with a lot of people. A lot of people say, well, the spar's different to the fight, and it's usually coming from people who have never stepped in a ring before, and I do understand what they're saying, you know. I'm not discrediting anything that anybody says. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I beg to differ. When I got in with Klitschko, you know, that was tougher than any fight I'd had. He knew everything in the bag. He had everything in the book to cover everything I was thinking. He was 10 steps ahead of me with everything. For the first week, I struggled. For the second week, I started picking up. For the third week, I started to get my feet, and, you know, I was having a little bit of success. And then at the end of the third week, Vladimir said to me, Richard, you know, you and Deontay Wilder are the best sparring I've ever had. You know, would you come back for one more week and spar on your own? So, you know, I jumped to the chance. I went back for another week. That week was done. And, you know, the feedback I got from Vladimir, you know, it just completely opened a new confidence in me, you know, because of all these things, all these suggestions people make that sparring's not like the fight. Yeah, we've not got head guards on. Yeah, it's not under the bright lights and this and that. But make no mistake about it, every day we're sparring with Vladimir. There's like 300 people watching the sparring, you know. That's more tickets than I sell for my fights, you know. So there's always going to be pressure from every different angle you look at. And, you know, the more you worry about things, it just creates more of an obstacle. So I seem to just not worry about little things that are going to put more obstacles than what I'm facing already in front of me, you know. And these things are the least of my worries. I'm just going to get in there, and it's like I said to you, you know, whoever stands in front of me, if you've cut any corners, if you've done anything wrong in training, if you decided to underestimate any aspect of getting in a fight with me with 10-ounce gloves on and with no head guards and whatever, you know, then you are going to come unstuck. It's as simple as that, because I've cut no corners. I've underestimated nobody in sparring, nobody in fighting, and I've done everything I could possibly do, everything I've been told to do. So let's have it. I'm ready. Let's have it, without sounding too cocky.
Well, you mentioned Deontay Wilder. Speaking of Deontay Wilder, he's fighting against the former WBO champion this Friday here in the States in California.
Oh, I can't wait, man.
What are your thoughts on Deontay, man?
Deontay is an absolute gentleman, you know, and I'm not just saying this because this guy could kill a horse if he hit a horse on the chin. You know, I'm saying it because I mean it. It's genuine. Me and Deontay spent a lot of time together in the Stangelwort in Austria at Klitschko camp, and I came to know Deontay personally, you know, and we became good friends. You know, I've got a lot of appreciation for that guy, you know, what he can do inside the ring, you know, what type of person he is outside the ring. You know, this guy, he puts it down. When he gets in that ring, he means business. He meant business when he sparred with Klitschko. And, you know, I got to see every aspect of the guy personally and in his chosen profession, you know, and this guy means business. You know, you cannot take your eyes off this guy for 1 second because he's on the ball. You know, I wish Deontay the absolute best. He came to Sheffield and, you know, I looked after Deontay. A standard, you know, I'm not trying to get no props for anything, you know, because I'm sure if I went to Alabama, the same, you know, I'd see the same hospitality, you know, but Deontay came, he absolutely destroyed Audley Harrison. You know, people shoot Audley Harrison down and say, yeah, well, this guy beat him and that guy beat him. Make no mistake about it, Audley Harrison, you don't get to the position of Olympic gold medalist by being a fool, by not being able to fight. That guy can put it down as well. Deontay, you know, coming to more recent times, absolutely destroyed Audley Harrison. And you've got to take your hat off to Deontay. You know, he's had, 29 fights, 29 knockouts. Come on. You know, what is there to say? That says it all. This guy means business. 100% love and 100% respect to you, Deontay, man. One love, brother.
That's it. You know, Deontay, he comes on the show quite often, man. He comes on the show even when he's not advertised. And we're very excited. I know there's a lot of criticism. I mean, there's criticism on every fighter. You know, I mean, there's, you know, I know, Richard, you read criticisms about you by fans and by media, by haters, or however we want to call it. And the thing is I just say, guys, just sit back, relax, because a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, the heavyweight division was boring. You know, especially here in the United States, we had nothing but a bunch of out-of-shape guys, and, you know, the UK, guys like yourself, Derek Chisora, who, you know, stirs up a lot of controversy. Obviously, Tyson Fury stirs up a lot of controversy. You know, just in that, you can't leave David Price out of it. Even what happened with David Price with Tony Thompson, he's still a player. I just think he just faced a guy who had his number. And that's like you mentioned earlier in the interview.
Yep.
You got two guys, you know, you got two big guys over 6'4" 250 pounds, with thousands of pounds of force behind a punch. You know, you get hit with something like that, you know, you're going to go to sleep. So I understand that, but Richard, I got another one for you. You know, you know Vladimir pretty well. You know the Klitschko's pretty well. In October, we actually just spoke to Vladimir here on the show last Wednesday, and he has the big fight with Alexander Povetkin. In your opinion, as a fan, does Alexander Povetkin pose a threat against Vladimir Klitschko, the best heavyweight in the world?
Yeah, Frank, I've got to be 100% honest with you. You know, Alexander Povetkin is not in that position for no reason whatsoever. This guy poses a serious threat against Klitschko. But as Klitschko has overcome every obstacle up to now, it is purely based on how serious Klitschko takes every step and has taken every step of his journey to where he is now. You know, Klitschko underestimates nobody, and I think that is a key part. In my very limited knowledge, you know, I realized that it is a key part in success in this game. And Klitschko, you know, he looks at Alexander Povetkin as the guy what can end it all, the guy what can finish everything he's worked so hard for. And just based on that fact, putting to the side all the other facts, such as Klitschko's experience, such as Klitschko's masterful tactics and masterful strategies he uses in sparring, in the fight, in every aspect of what he does, you know, he is going to destroy Alexander Povetkin. That is just my opinion. And it's like I said, I don't really see myself qualified to make such a call. But
listen, Richard,
you know,
let me tell you something. Richard, yeah. I'm stopping you right now because on this show, right, we're not running for political office. You're not the only popular opinion is stating that Alexander Povetkin is going to be over his head, much like, I mean, shoot, you've gotten Vladimir ready for his fights. You know what this guy's capable of doing. You know when he's in shape, when he's not in shape. There's no, listen, I mean, he's going to have to pull off an upset. He's an undefeated fighter. No, listen, this is what you got to get, Richard. You don't have to have politically, you got to come out, stuff you sit around, you stay with your boys and say, oh, this guy is rubbish, this guy ain't shit, whatever. That's what you bring on this show. That's what I'm telling you. That's what's get you to the top, because you got to, at this point in this division, to have it on, you got to break a couple eggs. And for you to go out there, it's hard for you to pick it's hard for you to pick Povetkin to pick Vladimir. I mean, I think Povetkin's a talented fighter. And he has a puncher's chance like anybody does.
Yeah, exactly. But I understand what you're saying, Frank. You know, the controversial, you know, trash talk, you know, it's just not my way. You know, my mother had said to me, she said, Richard, you was raised, you wasn't dragged. You know, that meaning, you know, I've been raised to respect people. I've been raised to, you know, like I say, not underestimate anybody. And that's just my way, Frank. And, you know, the thing is, I like to maintain a high level of respect for every fighter what steps in that ring. And this is one of the things, you know, I can't really understand about fighters what have sly digs at people. You know, not such as myself, but such people as Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather gets criticism. Klitschko's get criticism. And I'm just saying to you, you know, who in the right mind is qualified to trash talk these guys? There's nobody, because these guys are at the top of their game. So, you know, you'll never get out of me trash talking somebody in a really inappropriate manner, because it's just not my way, Frank. But one of the things I will say to you is, you know, make no mistake about it, I've seen Klitschko, you know, what he might consider out of shape. I've seen him in that frame of mind. I've seen him in that frame of physical form, and this guy is dangerous on any given day. And, you know, cutting a long story short, he's going to get in there, and I think it's going to be the mid-rounds, because Klitschko doesn't take any risks. You know, this guy's, he's as his title suggests, Dr. Iron Fist. He gets in there as a doctor, and he lets you have those iron fists as many times and as accurate as possible. This guy does not waste anything, and I think he's going to break Alexander Povetkin down. And in the middle rounds, I think, you know, I'm not a gambling man, but I'm pretty sure that that's an accurate estimation.
Oh, man, I appreciate that, man. That's what we like to do on this show, man, talk a little boxing. To the boxing fans anywhere across the world listening to this show right now, follow Richard Towers on Twitter. I know you keep your fans updated on what's going on with you on there.
Yeah, I try, Frank.
I don't know if you announced your next opponent's name on your Twitter recently, but Richard_Towers. No. We announced it right here on ATG Radio. I mean, Richard didn't even know himself. We had to go figure it out, but the guy he's fighting, Johan Duhapis. I'm going to find out the proper pronunciation of that name, but Johan Duhapis, we're going to see this going down in October. And I got to tell you this, Richard, that's why I respect you. Not only are you just like a stand-up gentleman, but you don't cut no corners, man. This is a big fight, man. This is a good fight. And as a matter of fact, you go, and this is no disrespect to you, you're going into this guy's hometown. He's going to have everybody screaming at you, hating you. In many ways, you're the underdog in this fight. So I'm looking forward to seeing this fight. I think this is going to be, like, if anybody gets an opportunity, see the EU heavyweight champion, Richard Towers, go into hostile territory to face the number one heavyweight coming out of France in October, or you go on, I don't know who's going to televise it, Sky Sports or Box Nation. I don't know what guys are going to be having that, but or if you're in the United States, catch a live stream online, check this fight out. I can't wait to see it. Richard, I can't wait to see it. And before, it's still 2 months before October. We'd love to get you back on the show, man, to talk a little bit more about this fight.
Definitely, Frank. Any given opportunity, I'm totally grateful for. Appreciate you guys. I just want to say, I've been boxing since I decided to get into boxing, since I was fresh out of prison, coming out of the most hostile territories the world got. I've always been going against the grain, but there's nothing new there. I'm going on to this guy's backline, and it's always, I'm not worried about what's to worry about. When I people screaming, people shouting at me, all that, this guy hates me. Look, listening to all these people, I'm sure me, let's fight, let's have a fight, come on.
Well, Richard, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you, taking your time out. One thing's for sure, we're going to continue to bring up your name to a lot of the heavyweights that come on the show. And this way we have more stuff we get to say. Like, we told you Ian Lewison had some choice words. We're going to keep bringing you're in the mix, man. This heavyweight division is very exciting right now. You're one of the reasons why it's exciting. Yeah. You're the future. And again, man, I can't thank you enough, Richard Towers. Again, at Richard_Towers on Twitter. Follow this man. And, Richard, looking forward to you coming back on the show in the future, champ.
Thank you very much, Frank. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
God bless you, my man.